What's the word, YouTube? It's your boy Lil. I'm back to the reaction. Today we got UK rappers' longest prison sentence. Feel me? This video was not requested. Popped up on the recommended. My boy Hip Hop Daily. Shout out Hip Hop Daily. Feel me? Might as well do it. Feel what I'm saying? We ain't scared of the work. You do the work. Feel what I'm saying? Before we get into it, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, and subscribe, gang. What am I like? Because right now, at the time I'm recording this video, bro, we are 10 subscribers away from 100, man. In the long road, man. After this road, we on the road to 200, so I mean, we ain't stop and drop. We ain't gonna stop the drive. Never gonna stop the drive, you know what I'm saying? That's always gonna be there. I just need y'all to work with me, though, for me. It's a team process. We gotta give it and go. Pass it back. I'm gonna hit the shot. Don't trip. I'm gonna hit that bitch. I'm gonna hit that motherfucker, nigga. I'm gonna hit that motherfucker every trip. Just give me that pass. Give me that red button click. Give me that pass. I'm gonna shoot that motherfucking click, man. You see that elbow tuck? See that elbow tuck? Motherfucker, you can't see the flick. The flick there, though. But I was dead, like. I'm telling you, I got the But let's get into it because I'm holding y'all up in some chat. I drop 5 to 7 videos a day though, just let y'all know that. None of you guys should subscribe, nigga. Fuck what you talking about? Feel me? Dropped 14 yesterday. But at the time I'm recording this video, yesterday, dropped 14. I'm telling you. Let's get into it though, man. I'll be talking here all day. 3, 2, 1, go.
The UK drill scene can get pretty wild. Stabbing, kidnapping, murder, and extortion are all common, and drill rappers are known to make music about real crimes going on in the streets. But when you're living that life and telling the world about it at the same time, it's not hard for the feds to figure it out. Here's a look at a few drill rappers who got arrested for murder. Jubes. Jubes is a rapper from North London who's associated with the NPK drill gang. NPK, also known as Sin Squad, is a group based around the Northumberland Park and Park Lane area of Tottenham in the N17 postcode. They're one of the most well-known gangs in the UK drill scene and beef with rival crews like NPK, Wood Green, and TPL. Jules was one of NPK's top hitters and one of the most respected gang members in North London. He's also one of the group's most skilled rappers and had an effortless flow and unique wordplay that set him apart from many other drill artists. But like many talented drill artists, he never got a chance to truly shine because he was arrested for murder before blowing up as a rapper. On December 22nd, 2018, Jubes, along with 3 other teenagers, were arrested for the murder of Wilhelm Mendes, a 25-year-old boxer. The other 3 with him that night were other NPK members Stewie, Scatty, and Rels. They were all under 18 at the time, with the youngest being just 15 years old. Mendes was a Portuguese national who was just getting off work at his job as a porter in a restaurant. The crew was hanging around outside the Tottenham High Road bus stop after they had just beat up and robbed 2 boys aged 18 and 19 who were waiting for the bus. They then made their way to the Bruce Grove station where they spotted Mendes and decided to attack him next. Mendes, who was an amateur boxer, tried to fight him off. Even though it was 4 versus 1, Mendes was older and knew how to fight, so he managed to beat up the younger 2, Rels and Stewie. But he didn't realize that Scatty had 2 blades on him. He passed one of them to Jubes and they both chased him into an alley. They grabbed the bag he had and then stabbed him to death outside the McDonald's. CCTV footage from outside the restaurant showed the 2 older boys fist bump and then casually walk away, leaving Mendes to bleed out in the street. The 4 boys were later caught and arrested. Stewie and Rouse were only 15 at the time of the crime and were not found guilty of murder but were charged with robbery. One was sent to a youth rehabilitation center and the other was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Jubes pled guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Scatty pled guilty to murder and was sentenced to 17 years behind bars. With Jubes being locked up, NPK not only lost one of its most certified members, but it also lost one of its most talented rappers. On the track Op Block Tour, Jubes can be heard rapping about a similar stabbing. It's not clear if he's talking about the murder that got him locked up, but he describes it in such vivid detail that you can tell he's not playing around. Because they were under 18 at the time of the murder, it's likely that with good behavior they won't serve the entire length of their sentences. But if old NPK beef forces them to go hard in prison, it may be a while before Scatty and Jubes are back on the street. If you thought that was wild, this next rapper stabbed 4 fans outside of a concert, killing one of them, and was arrested at the airport after fleeing to Greece. Scars. Scars is a rapper from the Hornsey area of London associated with the 8th gang, also known as Vilside or V8. They are known to beef with other North London gangs like 22 from Wood Green and 3x3 from Edmonton. Scars was one of the most prominent rappers from the 8th who was well known in North London. On August 25th, 2019, a grime rapper named Mo Stack was performing at the Gallery nightclub in Maidstone. Scars was good friends with Mo Stack, and he went to the concert that night to support his boys. But being a well-known driller in the streets of London, Scars didn't go to the show unarmed. He pulled up with a huge machete in case anything popped off. It's not entirely clear what happened that night, but after the performance, a huge brawl broke out in the street outside the club. The fight was captured on CCTV footage as well as cell phone video. The video shows punches and kicks being thrown, people being tossed to the ground and jumped, and all kinds of mayhem. At one point, you can see Scars stab a person on the ground a few times and then run away with the machete in his hand and a sweatshirt over his face. In total, 4 people were stabbed and 1 was killed. The murder victim's name was Andre Bent. He happened to be the cousin of Bradley McIntosh from the pop group S Club 7. All of the victims were civilians, and the fight does not seem to be gang-related, other than the fact that Scars was associated with the 8. Right after the murder, Scars fled the country and went to Greece. But he didn't even last a week and returned to London 6 days later. By then, the police had already figured out that he was the prime suspect and were waiting for him on the tarmac when he landed back in the UK. According to authorities, they used his music as a way to track him and identify him as the attacker in the video. His lawyers tried to argue that he was acting in self-defense. Scars and his crew had been attacked first outside the club. 2 other knives were later recovered at the crime scene, and according to his defense team, one of his friends had been stabbed leading up to the attack. Scars was just 16 at the time, and they argued that he was traumatized and acted in the heat of the moment. But the fact that he brought a giant machete to a concert wasn't a great look. The judge also noted that after getting convicted, Scars got his hands on a phone where he recorded a rap that was released to the internet. He brags about the killing in normal drill fashion and shows little remorse for his actions. The family of Andre Bent also revealed that his fiancée was pregnant and she was going to tell him the next morning, but never got a chance. 9 other people were also arrested for the brawl and charged with a violence disorder. Their sentences ranged from 1 to 3 years, but Scars was the only one charged with murder. Despite his claims of self-defense, he was found guilty and sentenced to 20 years in prison. It's hard to tell what really went down that night. What seems most likely is that Scars and his group were pressed over some gang shit and reacted. Once the brawl broke out, it was probably hard to tell who was who, and he may have stabbed civilians by accident, thinking they were the ops. Or maybe the fight went down, and Scars just wanted to gain some internet clout by chefing up anyone he can get his hands on. He probably thought he could just skirt off to Greece and start over. But being a teenager with limited funds, he wasn't able to use their true identity in a foreign country, probably wasn't as easy as he thought it would be, which is why he returned to London. Fortunately, London lost another talented rapper. But that's what happens when you bring a machete with you on a regular night out. But if you thought that was crazy, these next rappers stabbed a dude to death after a minor argument in a KFC.
Give your 5 who score a
You know when the
turbo
ads
boost.
come on, like, comment, subscribe, 10
Boost
subs.
it instantly,
Subscribe
free,
away.
with experience.
BD and Dopey. BD and Dopey are 2 artists from South London associated with the RP or Rappel Park Gang, also known as 67. RP is based in the Rappel Park Estates in the borough of Lambeth and is known to beef with rival gangs like 410 and UTH. BD and Dopey are 2 rappers associated with RP, known for tracks like Local Shops, where they rap about slashing ops and going hard in the streets. BD even starts out the verse by rapping, "I don't run my mouth, I just swing my shank," which is exactly what ended up getting him a murder charge. On September 10th, 2019, BD and Dopey were with some other dudes from their neighborhood at a KFC on Edgware Road in central London. Another man named Yusuf Beaker, a business student at the nearby city of Westminster College, was meeting his cousin on his lunch break. BP and Dopey were arguing with the girl inside the KFC, and Yusuf and his cousin stepped in to defend her. They argued with the gang for about 30 minutes before the rappers got fed up and stabbed Yusuf to death on the pavement outside. CCTV footage from inside the KFC showed the whole thing go down, plus there were several witnesses. The rappers were quickly arrested and tried at the Old Bailey Court in London. Yusuf was only 17 at the time and had no ties to any gangs. It was just a petty argument that unfortunately led to bloodshed, and an innocent bystander lost his life just because he stood up for a female. It's not clear what sparked the argument or how disrespectful it got, but it was still a pretty vicious attack for something that could have been left as an argument or at most a fist fight. 6 men in total were arrested for the murder. The trial originally started back in March 2020, but was delayed due to coronavirus. It was the first case to come before the court after the break. 3 of the boys in the group were acquitted of the murder, but 1 was charged with manslaughter, and the other 2 were charged with murder and possession of a deadly weapon. Dopey was one of the group members who were allowed to walk, but VD was not so lucky and was sentenced to life. Rumors that someone in the crew snitched were going around because half of them were acquitted and the other half got hit with pretty harsh sentences. But the whole thing was also captured on camera, so what's more likely is that the prosecutors didn't have enough evidence to convict all 6, so they focused on the ones who did the stabbing. Yusuf's death was pretty senseless and could have been avoided, but in the world of drill, no one is truly safe, not even civilians. Yusuf most likely didn't know what he was getting himself into when he started an argument with a group of active gang members. But if that wasn't crazy enough, these next rappers stabbed an innocent music producer to death in broad daylight after confusing him for an op. Nico and KK. Nico and KK are 2 rappers and gang members from South London. Nico's associated with the Show or Shower Gang, which is just older members of the crew 814. KK is associated with B-Side, also known as 785, a gang based in Bellingham. B-Side and Show 814 are allies and are known to be with groups like Zone 2 and Splash Gang. Nico and KK even appeared together in a track called Splash, where they dish Splash Gang and let them know what will happen if they catch him in public. On February 24, 2017, KK and Nico decided to do a ride out in South London, a UK street term for going out hunting for ops. They came across a group of Splash Gang members and decided to make a move. First, two guys on mopeds rolled up and pointed guns at the group. They turned to run away, but the attackers chased them down and caught the slowest one, stabbing him to death. It was later revealed that the victim was not a member of Splash Gang, but just an innocent music producer named Dean Pascal, who just happened to be in the area because he was helping his friends shoot a music video. The two rappers he was helping did have ties to Splash Gang, and Dean was killed in a case of mistaken identity. They stabbed Dean 14 times in broad daylight. He attempted to get some help and stumbled down the road in front of a group of parents walking their children to school, but bled out before paramedics could arrive. Nico was arrested for the murder shortly after, but KK fled to Jamaica to try to hide out. Just like Scars, he didn't make it long abroad and eventually returned to the UK, where he was immediately arrested. Nino and KK were charged with murder as well as possession of a deadly weapon. They were both found guilty in court. KK was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 17 years, and Nico was sentenced to life with a minimum of 20 years. There was a rumor floating around that while in Jamaica, KK called Nico, who's his cousin, and told him to snitch to get a lighter sentence. But this is unconfirmed internet gossip. Two other B-Side affiliates who also participated in the attack were found guilty and given a life sentence in a separate trial. A fifth defendant who was arrested for the crime was found innocent and allowed to walk. Dean's murder was just another tragic example of knife crime in the UK getting out of control. He wasn't killed for anything that he said or did, just because he happened to be hanging around with the wrong people at the wrong time. But in the world of drill, anything can happen, especially when affiliated with active gangs, even if it's strictly business. You can get caught in the line of fire. If you like this video, we have many more on our channel. From UK rappers arrested for making music to UK drill lyrics that actually happened. We cover the most insane stories that you need to hear. Also, be sure to check out our second channel. We'll be uploading there just as much as we do here. Click the link in our description and subscribe if you're gang. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so you never miss any great content like this. Catch you in the next video.
And that's the end of this one, y'all. Y'all enjoyed this one. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want me to react to next. Road to 100 subs, man. 10 subs away. Feel me? Help me get there. Because then we on the road to 200, man. Word, I'm out of here.